This channel is entirely fan-funded on Patreon. I know you guys' money is limited, but the next time you have a few bucks to spare, if you could consider supporting me, I'd really appreciate it. I've long considered myself a liberal. I know this video sounds terrifying already, but believe me, I'm not going to dive too much into politics, more of like the meta of politics. So if you're not interested in that, feel free to leave. I don't mind. This isn't a super important video, but just something I kind of wanted to say, kind of wanted to get out there. Despite always considering myself a liberal, I try not to identify with the term liberal. I don't want it to be something that really defines me or my perspectives. And that's the kind of point of this video, is that I feel that political parties, political liberals, this binary in our culture here in the United States, and in most other places I would assume as well, there's two kind of big parties. This is limiting our discussion, it's limiting our debate, and it's actually intellectual laziness. Because one of the most important things in a democratic system of any sort is an informed populace, people who are able to understand the nuance of the issues at hand and be able to make critical thinking decisions about the repercussions of a choice one way or the other. And so much of the time, so much of the discussion and the debate around politics, especially in modern America, is uninformed drivel, because we've taken politics and turned it into sports. You have a team that you root for, and against all odds, you want that team to win, and you want the other team to lose. Politics has become sports for people bored of sports. Republicans and Democrats want their team to win, and they want the other team to lose. And it fucks the ability to be able to have a rational debate, or the ability for people to examine the issues individually. Because if you have a team mentality and like, this is my team, and so any attack against my team is an attack against me and I'm going to take it personally, you can't disseminate the facts and the points of individual issues and think to yourself, well, maybe on this issue I agree with Democrats, but on this issue I agree with Republicans, and I'm going to have a nuanced understanding. I'm going to dive into the issues. What happens is a hot button debate comes up, something like abortion or gay marriage or whatever, name your pick. And instead of researching and looking into it and coming into your own conclusion as an individual, trying to be the most informed and the most intelligent you can be and make informed, well-formed decisions, you instead go on social media, my team says it's bad, it's fucking bad, and don't you dare tell me it's good. And that's what political dissent and discussion comes down to. It's, what does my team think? That's how I'm going to think. And I fucking hate it. It makes all these issues that have tons of nuance, tons of depth, tons of detail, terrible, terribly uninteresting, and terribly unproductive. Because if you have this weird psychological block where you personally align with a pre-prescribed perspective, try saying that 3 times fast, you block out points that would either change your opinion or contradict what you already hold to be true. You go into every discussion with presuppositions, with an idea that you're already representing the moral good and the enemies on the other side of the field, and not somebody that has a different opinion than you, who has maybe just as much valid points, and if you disagree that their valid points are less persuasive than the valid points you're bringing to the table, that's fine, but maybe you can give some ground, give and take here, come to a bipartisan solution, or just have your mind changed altogether. You're not allowed to do that when you treat politics like sports, because it becomes a personal identity, and any sort of dissent from your perspective and your team becomes an attack on you. And it's fucking awful. And with this whole Trump bullshit, there's points for and against Trump, but you never know that looking at the news. It's either he's fucking Hitler or he's the God Emperor. There's no way of saying, well, this is kind of not a bad thing, this is a really bad thing. You know, because if you're a Republican, you gotta be for Trump. And if you're not, you gotta be against him. And this is just one example, but this is how the entire dialogue in modern politics goes. And it's so unproductive. I really think we should abolish political parties. Voters should vote on the issues. That means you, the voter, has to do a lot more fucking legwork and make up your own mind, because there's no big group you can fall into that has made up your mind for you. Does that mean it's more difficult to stay on top of these current issues? Yes, and that's the point, because right now people are on intellectual autopilot, and it's fucking ruining everything. There's no debate anymore. There's no discussion anymore. It's just, you're evil and I'm not, or you're evil and I'm not. That's it. It's really just disgusting and disappointing to me. nothing really triggered this in my mind, except from just being alive in 2017, I suppose. But more and more, as more time goes on and we get more divided and get set up in these social media designed echo chambers, we become more and more disassociated with intellectual people on the other side of the fence who could better inform us, either in changing our perspectives or better reinforcing our arguments by showing us what the other side thinks and being able to think through those points and be like, no, this is why I think that point is wrong. We don't have that anymore. It's just, you're evil and I'm not. And it sucks. Get rid of it. That's all I got. I'll talk to you tomorrow.